If you enjoy journaling in a fall gratitude journal, but simply don't have the time to fill up the larger size ones, well, stick around. Today, we're going to take our everyday recyclable cardboard, cover that, and create a bite-sized journal that we can take with us on the go and document those autumn memories. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Livie's Lovelies, your inspirational craft channel, and I'm your host, Fam the Fabulous. For more ideas, inspiration, swaps, and challenges, click the link in the description below to join our craft community, the Maker Exchange, on Facebook. Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. All my artists, creatives, crafters, and makers, welcome back to the Lovely Lab. Listen, today we are creating some mini journals. I've got a couple, one that's already completed. And all I have done is take some recyclable cardboard from boxes that I received through Amazon, cut them down, cover them with actually a brown paper bag, and then cover them with some scrap fabric. It's just that simple. So let me just show you, for those who are not familiar, what you need to do. You need a cover, a spine, and a back cover. Front, spine, back. All right. Now it's very simple. I have done the same concept. What I do is, I've done the same concept to create this, which I'll be working on today, as well as this, which I've already completed, and it simply just needs the signature and embellishments added. So here's the deal. I have taken, for both of these, a brown paper bag, a little gift bag. You can use any bag that you have as long as it's not plastic, because it's a little more difficult to work with. You open that baby up, okay, and you make sure that you lay it flat. So actually what I am going to do is I'm going to go ahead and break this down so that you can see how simple this is. And it doesn't matter if a little bit gets torn, because it's going to get covered anyways, right? I'm just taking off the handles. They're usually put down with glue and yeah. So I just simply remove the handles. And what you need is, you need for it to be approximately a half an inch to an inch longer all the way around than your cardboard. So let's bring this up here. I know it's a little difficult to see simply because all of it's brown. But here we have, this is how it's going to get laid down. So I'm going to move this over just a little bit because of that area there. Okay. And so we have enough. So then what I would do, obviously I would have to remove this second handle. Okay. And then I will cut down the excess. Yeah. Now all you need for this project really is some type of a bag or large cardstock. Well, actually I don't use cardstock to bring the pieces together. I do cover it with the inside with cardstock, but I find that it's a lot easier for you know, to glue when the paper isn't so thick. So here's what we would have. Okay, now from here, what I would do, and I want to make sure that I'm okay, I got that. I gotta leave that there, there, there. And I'm gonna cut off the excess on the side as well. Less glue, less things to have to worry about. If you don't have to, why put yourself through it, right? All right, so, yep, that's fine. All right, and so the next thing that I would do is I would go on ahead and using something like a school glue, something a little bit thicker than a school glue. How you adhere it is completely up to you, but you definitely want to make sure you have good coverage. Now, if you're going to cover it again with fabric or some other form of a cardstock, you really don't need to smooth this out. But if this is going to be your main cover, then you want to go ahead and smooth this so that it's not presenting a lumpy, bumpy situation. So you place this knowing where that you have enough space on both sides, right? So top and bottom both have about 3/4 of an inch, if not an inch. Okay. And we do that for all three. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. All right, so once you have all three pieces put down, the next step is you would go ahead and miter your edges. You would actually cut it off something like that on all four edges, leaving 1/8 or to 1/4 of an inch at the corner, the distance between the corner and the cut. Okay, you're going to do that for all four corners. And once you have that done like that, then you are going to glue one side, the next side, the top, then the bottom, or the bottom and then the top, however you want to do it. Now, I'm not going to do that for this one because I'm actually going to add another spine here and another cover, because this is actually going to be a folio. So we're going to stop here. I'm going to move on over to the part that is completed, and I'll be right back. All right, and so this is what you would have. You would end up. Now, I wanted to say this. When you lay your spine down, you want to make sure that you leave about 1/8 of an inch between the covers and the spine so that it can close without any hindrance. If you have it too close, it won't be able to open and shut without there being some interference, okay? So the next thing that we do is we take a piece of fabric that is the size of our journal plus size of the entire thing, plus an extra 1.5 inch all the way around at the very least. Okay, so mine, I have a little bit more than necessary, I would say, but I'm going to use all of it. Okay, now what I would have to do is I would have to miter more at this point. Actually, what I will do from here, I'm going to go ahead and glue this in place. Now, because this is a 2-layered piece of fabric, I can use a wetter glue because I'm only going to be laying the cover onto 1 layer of the fabric. And I'm not going to do it too thick because I don't want it to seep through to the second layer and then end up on the outside cover. So that is good enough. Now, if your fabric is thin, you'll go ahead and smooth this out like so, so that it will adhere, but it won't seep through, which is what I would strongly advise regardless. But if you know you're going to have multiple things covering that fabric, then you don't really have to be as cautious. Okay, you just flip that over. And remember, if you're using a fabric that has a pattern to it, just be mindful of the direction of the pattern. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to go ahead and flip this over. And let me wipe my hand off. I got a little bit of glue going. And then I'm just going to make sure I press the fabric in place. You can use a spatula, you can use whatever you have on hand. It's completely up to you. And then I'm going to go on ahead and miter the edges, simply because it's already in place. I don't have to, well, pair of scissors. Those scissors are garbage. They're simply paper scissors. And so I am leaving about 1/8 of an inch, and hopefully that will suffice. And it does. Let's see. Yep, that'll work. All right, so do the same to all 4 sides. And this has a little bit more than the other side. I'm gonna have to trim some down though. And remember to keep all your scraps because you can use it somewhere else, whether it be for a pocket or a cluster. Just remember to hold on to your scraps because they can come in quite handy, and that way you don't have to keep keep cutting into new pieces of paper, although that may be your goal. That part's up to you. All right, so Remember, you glue down from one side to the next, whether that's paper or whether that is fabric, because you need to make sure that it is taut. And if there's any looseness in here, you can kind of mitigate that at that point. So I'm going to go top to bottom first. So I know that it's stopping here. I'm going to go ahead and put down a generous amount, and then I'm going to smooth it out. Now don't worry about getting every bit of this edge glued down, simply because you are actually going to be covering it. So it's not going to leave any room for it to pull up. So don't be concerned about that. So I'm going to do all four sides like this, and then I'll come back. All right, so all four sides are laid down. Now let me show you this. If you have any pieces that kind of stick up like that, don't worry about it. Remember, we're making a junk journal. This is not going to Hallmark greeting cards headquarters. Handcrafted is best, but it's not perfect, okay? So now that we have it all adhered down, listen, don't get worried because it's looking a little shabby. It's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. I'm just adding some glue to this part because clearly I didn't have enough glue there. Now, you want to pick a cardstock for the inside. This is too small, so I need to move on to, this is the part where you do need to pull out some new papers. So I want one that is going to cover the inside in here. So I want to go here. Okay, all right, paper. I want to leave about 1/4 of an inch all the way around. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to cut here. All right. I'm so left-handed. All right. Oh gosh, this thread is really sticking. I got some stuff going on here. Okay. All right, back. Let's get focused, girls. All right, so, and remember, we're not throwing any extra papers away. And I cannot find where that extra cut was at, but let us go ahead and remeasure. Oh, there it is. I see it. Right here. Perfection is not necessary. Not unless you're a perfect human, of course. All right, so this is the last step before you start to put your own personal touches on here. Now, I will say this. I'm using cardstock because I do want this glued very well, and I am going to use a very generous amount of glue. Now, on this journal, while the inside does have cardstock, I did go ahead and sew around the edge, one because I wanted the black thread there, but also just to lock in this fabric because it is a little bit thicker. It's actually upholstery fabric. You don't have to do that if you're not using upholstery fabric, or you can simply use a better quality glue, which I'm not using. So I am at this point just going to put a very generous amount of glue onto this paper, and I am actually going to spread it out because I'm going to need for it to seep into the space in between the spines, the spine and the cover. Okay, so slide this out the way and just really gently. You can take a, if you don't like mess, you can just take a spatula or something like that. But a little wet piece of paper towel or cloth will rid you of the messiness. And you want to make sure that the edges have a good amount of glue on them, because that's vital to making sure your stuff don't fall apart. All right. Now, just going to go ahead and flip this over, put it onto this cover, and move right along in our lives. Not a complicated process. The hardest part is figuring out which papers you want to use, which fabrics you want to use, and so on and so forth. The rest, and once you do one or two of these, it becomes almost like second nature. So again, I'm going to go ahead and take my little Dollar Tree spatula here, which is covered with glue for all the obvious reasons. And I'm just going to smooth this down. You don't need this spatula, but what I will tell you, you will need is you're going to have to feel here where the spine is at, okay? And while this paper is relatively moist, which is why I why I like and prefer to use the wet glue. You want to go ahead and try and work this a little bit. It's going to buckle. It's not a big deal. Okay. But this is where you want to work that, and then make sure you're holding it down in the places where the possibility is to buckle. But if you do it while it's wet, it has more flexibility. And so when you leave it to dry, what you'll want to do is make sure that it is all the way closed, okay? Like so. Now I am personally going to take a binder clip for there and a binder clip for here, because I know that it has a tendency to buckle. And then I'm going to leave this somewhere where it will have a book or something heavy on top of it, just so that it dries in a closed manner, okay? So we have completed this part of the process. In the next video, so stay tuned, we will go ahead and add a signature and cover the front and embellish the inside lightly, because we still want to have enough space to journal in. It is a bite-sized journal, right? These are the same fabrics, just one is flipped over, the other one is not. All right, so listen, I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope that you will continue to follow along. If you enjoy making journals, stay tuned to the end. There's a couple more videos, a couple of little suggestions, so that you can continue with the inspiration. All right, and so for those who are returning subscribers, thanks so much for supporting the channel and for constantly coming back, sharing your feedback and your comments in the description box. Now, for those who are not current subscribers, now's a great time to hit that button, because you don't want to miss the next upload and any of the other crafty inspirations that we have here in the Lovely Lab. Now, with that being said, until we're back here together on YouTube and Patreon, my friends, stay encouraged, stay blessed, stay creative and crafting. Bye for now. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Hit subscribe to join the crafty community, and be sure to click the bell for notifications of new uploads. Thank you so much for watching. Now stay tuned for more from Livie's Lovelies, your inspirational craft channel. Bye for now.